I think our listeners would really like to hear how this voir dire was different than anything I've ever seen you do before.
Well, there's a few things. One, I was trying to get some people off for costs because I knew that, and there were some issues in this case that there were some people that once they heard that our client had used cocaine and that they were not going to allow very much in money because they thought he would use it on drugs. And we knew that that was an issue with some people. We also knew there were other people that thought, well, it's one oil field company, another oil field company, all the oil field workers, like who are they complaining about? Their own workers are probably doing the same thing. That was also a sentiment in the community. And then we were thinking at the time that our client was going to be unlikable because Kelly had actually worked with him 8 or 10 times, actually over a couple years, and just threw her hands up and said, like, this client is just not going to testify well. He does well on these 2 or 3 areas, but he's got like he would always try to make an excuse for anything. He'd always want sympathy. He'd never admit to any responsibility on anything else in his life at the time. She said you have to really set the bar low. Not only do we have to try to worry about identifying the people that just would not allow money if the client had certain things. And so my favorite question in voir dire was, have you ever loved somebody that you didn't like? And I gave an example, from my own life of someone that, a family member, I really loved the person, but I just couldn't be around them that much. And that was pretty universal. I mean, and so, I'm like, so is it okay to hurt somebody if they're not likable? Should they if my client is kind of a jerk, should they get a Now, I didn't have him there for voir dire. That was, I think, important because I don't think we could have had this conversation.
Right.
And, so I said, if a company hurts somebody, should they get a discount because the person they hurt isn't likable? I mean, I said, when I have like, a grandmother who's like coming home from church and she gets hit, and everybody loves her, it's really easy. But, I've got a guy that's not always, you're going to meet him. He's not always easy to love. Can we just consider the evidence? And I was doing a little bit of, without purposely bringing politics in it, because I would not bring politics into it, because you could divide the jury. Even in a deep red county is like 65% red, not
Right.
100%. But I make a point to go read left and right wing media and commentary a couple times a week just to get a feel for how people think and how people talk. And I know one of the big things on Trump is, well, he may be an a-hole, but he's our a-hole. And it's not whether you like him or not. But it's what he does. He did he might have been a jerk about it, but he did what he promised. And so I kind of got a little bit of that. Like, can we just base it on the evidence? Can we forget about all this bias and prejudice? And it's not whether you like someone or you hate someone, it's not whether they're hurt or not and what they went through. And I think that resonated pretty well.